محمد وآل محمد صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله أنها قالت: دخل علي أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: عليك السلام. قال: إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له: أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة، ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيت بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به، وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن عليه السلام قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين عليه السلام قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: عليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن نكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: عليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن نكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له: وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن نكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال: اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال الله عز وجل: يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل: يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. فقال جبرائيل: يا ربي أتأذن لي أن نهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله: وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله. فإنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال علي لأبي: يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله هما، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غما، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا، وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد. الفاتحة.
بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات. سیدہ فاطمہ، سیدہ طاہرہ، سیدہ فاطمہ، سیدہ طاہرہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، 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 محسن علی ہے فاطمہ، محسن علی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی 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 ہے فاطمہ، اختیار کن کے باوجود، اختیار کن کے باوجود چکی پیستی ہے فاطمہ، چکی پیستی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی. مصطفیٰ کو مانگنا پڑا، مصطفیٰ کو مانگنا پڑا، تب کہیں ملی ہے فاطمہ، تب کہیں ملی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ. آئے ہیں حسن بوقت ظہر، آئے ہیں حسن بوقت ظہر، عصر پڑھ رہی ہے فاطمہ، عصر پر رہی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، وقت کے امام کے لیے، وقت کے امام کے لیے آگ پر چلی ہے فاطمہ، آگ پر چلی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی کیسے جائے گا جنام شیخ، کیسے جائے گا جنام شیخ، در پہ ہی کھڑی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی 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 ہے فاطمہ، کیا تقابل امہات سے، کیا تقابل امہات سے، ماں رسول کی ہے فاطمہ، ماں رسول کی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، لا الہ جھومنے لگا، لا الہ جھومنے لگا، لا الہ جھومنے لگا، سجدہ کر رہی ہے فاطمہ، سجدہ کر رہی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، کیسے جائے گا جنام شیخ، کیسے جائے گا جنام شیخ، در پہ ہی کھڑی ہے فاطمہ، در پہ ہی کھڑی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، تو بڑی سخی ہے فاطمہ، نعرہ حیدری بر محمد والے محمد صلوات۔
This spoken word poem is entitled The Voice of Bibi Fatima. She was the pearl of Bani Hashim. The heavens listened to her every word. Humanity was safeguarded through her noble womb. The elements of the world bowed down to her grace. The birds would compete to be there for her very embrace. She taught values of valor to Imam Hasan, Imam Hussein, Bibi Zainab, and Kulthum. The valor of Hadeeth and the tranquility of Zahra infused in each and every noble ma'asum. But the world's tyranny took its toll. Her beloved father's departure brought out the wolves from the streets. They pierced Mohsin and followed Shaitan's beats. They lost sight of our Holy Prophet's ark. Their values were void and apart. The world deluded their eyes. Bloodshed was rampant. But her ailing voice was heard. The Lord of the heavens and the earth watched her with grace. The angels from her above submitted to their Lord's decree. The voice of Zainab was brought to the world by God's embrace. The world eagerly listened to her every word. Her voice amongst tyranny brought the tyrants to shame. They simply had no one to blame. Void of faith, they were laid to waste. Mukhtar made haste. Our Bibi's voice carries through centuries. They are not simply memories, but eternal realities. The people of Kufa missed their chance. All mankind of our era, don't miss her great-grandson's invitation. The descendant of Nuh, al-Mahdi, will be praying in Makkah in full prostration. His post-prayers actions will be swift. Yearn for this chance. The voice of Bibi Fatima will echo through his chest. Make no mistake, vengeance will take place till the sword will finally take rest. The voice of Bibi Fatima beckons forth. It will wail no more. God's promise will be restored. The voice of al-Zahra's happiness will shine through eternity. It flows through the river of her family to bring serenity. Bar Muhammad wa al Muhammad salawat.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Sayyid Hasan Rizvi, respected elders, dearest brothers and sisters in Iman, Assalamu alaikum, Jameel wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Surah Fatiha is requested from all marhumeen listed on the screen, as well as all other marhumeen. Surah Mubarakatul Fatiha. Dua Shfa Maries is requested for all those in need here and elsewhere, as well as those listed on the screen. Let us recite together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakhshifu as-su'. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakhshifu as-su'. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakhshifu as-su'. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. Ya Allah. Once again, a reminder that we will soon, inshallah, be gathering in celebration of the birth of our Holy Prophet and our sixth Holy Imam, alayhimus salam. Please see our Finance Director, Brother Abbas Alu, or any other MC member to donate towards the Niyaz and Program Fund for these upcoming programs. At this time, let us invite Sayyid Hasan Rizvi to please come forward for tonight's Majlis. Bar Muhammad wa al Muhammad salawat.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين بالقاسم المصطفى محمد ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد صلوات على محمد وآل محمد We have this famous narration that's attributed to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. And it comes in many different forms, and I'll share one of the most famous forms. He's reported to have said, Intidharul faraj afdalul ibadah. Or the other way around, it's also been mentioned, Afdalul ibadat al-mu'min, Intidharul faraj. That the greatest ibadah, the greatest amal, the greatest worship and action that someone can do, especially a mu'min, is this intidharul faraj, awaiting for our imam, our master, our savior, the 12th imam, Imam al-Mahdi, ajjalallahu ta'ala farajuhu sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa when you think about, or when we think about this idea of the intidhar, waiting for the imam, a lot of questions come to our mind. And I don't want to go on to, have a kind of long discussion about that tonight. I wanted to switch gears a little bit tonight. We haven't done a Kahoot quiz in a while, so that's going to be the majority of our time. But I just wanted to make one quick point. When we think about the intidhar, waiting for the imam, preparing for the imam's return, however we phrase it, our mind usually jumps to just a few very specific questions or ideas. Most people, when they think about the topic of the 12th Imam, about his return and his dhuhur, reappearance, our preparation for it and all this, one of the main things that people are confused about, that they ask, that they're obsessed with, or they're interested in, is this idea of the alamat al-dhuhur, or the alamat of the end of times. What are these signs of the end of times? What are the signs right before the imam is going to come and return? And I think the general idea that the reason people are obsessed with these things is because there's this idea that, in the back of my mind, if I know these alamat, if I know these signs, and I'm able to point them out, and I go through these riwayat and these Hadeeth which talk about what's going to happen before the imam comes back, then once the sign does come, then I'll be ready to go. Right? Because then I'll I know about that sign, so then I'll be ready. So people are always asking, there's this, Dajjal and Sufyani, and then there's this thing happening in Sham, and something else is going to happen in Iraq. What are all these details? Or sometimes people ask about, we've heard that the sun is going to start rising from the west and setting in the east, right? It's going to start flipping. Or we heard that the sky will change colors. It'll be green or purple or something like that. Is that true? Or we've heard that, a voice will be heard from the skies that every human will hear, and it'll be the voice of Jibreel alayhi salam, or somebody saying that the Mahdi's coming, right? We've heard a lot of these things before. And without fail, in almost every single Q&A, no matter where I've gone, it's always come up. People are always asking about that. So what I want to just offer as a humble piece of advice for all of us is that perhaps our obsession might be a little misplaced. Let me explain, if you can recite a salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Let's explain with an example. Let's say tomorrow morning, we've got some important meeting to attend to, right? Something to go to. Maybe it's an interview, maybe a doctor's appointment, maybe you have a flight to catch, right? Something like that. Something that if you miss it, then you're done, right? This is not something you can miss. So if I can't miss it, then usually what most people might do is on their phone, or if they actually have an alarm clock, I don't know who still does nowadays, but if you do, you set your alarm, right? If you're a flight or you have to be ready by a certain time, you set it however much in advance, right? Maybe hour, 2 hours in advance, something like that, right? So when that alarm goes off, the idea is the alarm goes off, then I wake up, and then I go, and I'm fine, right? I'm prepared, and I'm good to go. Now, that's in an ideal situation. Now, let's say I decide tonight, after this program is done, I get home, and whatever, I get home 10, 11 o'clock. I'm like, you know what? I'm a little hungry. Even though I had something over here, I still want to eat a little bit more. So I decide to have my second, third dinner, whatever you want to call it. Then after that, I'm like, well, I can't just end like that. I have to have some dessert. So take out some ice cream. I start eating that too. Like, okay. And then obviously, once you eat, you don't just fall asleep right away. I'm going to stay up a little bit. I have to digest it, right? So, all right, there's some new series on Netflix that, I haven't caught up on or I have to catch. So I sit there and maybe I watch 1 or 2 episodes. And then I'm like, all right, this cliffhanger, I can't wait. I've got to finish a little bit more of it. And time goes on and on. Maybe I scroll through social media a little bit too. 10, 11 o'clock has now turned into 2, 3 a.m. maybe, right? Like, okay, now I better go to sleep. I go to sleep. Now, if that alarm goes off, let's say 6, 7 a.m., whatever it is, how likely is it that I'm going to wake up? It's going to be pretty tough, right? Pretty difficult given what I've done the night before. Very, very tough. Even though I've set an alarm and I know exactly what time to wake up and I know what my alarm is going to sound like and everything, because of what I did the night before, meaning tonight, then me waking up and these signs that are happening, the alarm clock is not really going to mean much. I think you can follow the analogy a little bit. A lot of us, when we think about these signs, these alamat of this scream or this yell or some trumpet or, the sky changing color or, again, something happening in the Middle East, like, the wars, whatever is happening, again, forget about authenticity and whether they're true or not. Put that aside. Let's say they're all true. If all of those happen and I'm unprepared for it, do you think that those signs are going to matter at all? That this scream, this yell is heard, or the sky changes color, or the sun rises from the west all of a sudden? If I am the way that I am right now, and I have not prepared for his return, all these signs happen, all these signs take place, am I just going to immediately turn into this great Shia all of a sudden? No. The same way, if I haven't, let's say the night before, let's say ironed my clothes or picked out what I was supposed to wear the next morning, if it's an interview, prepped for, what I'm supposed to say in this interview, maybe it's a doctor's appointment, maybe there's certain things I should have done beforehand. If you don't prepare ahead of time and you do things that'll mess you up when you go to sleep, then any sign, any alarm that you're going to wake up with is not really going to help you. Likewise, what the ulama say is that these signs, these alamat, assuming whichever ones are true, these are for people who are already prepped and aware. This idea of intidharul faraj is like what? It's like somebody who, when they have a flight, they don't pack at the last second. They're not rushing to pack the morning of, 15 minutes before, their car, Uber, or Lyft, or whatever is on the way. Like, okay, let me rush and pack everything together. Because in that case, what happens? You're in a state of anxiety. Oh my God, I have to rush. You get there, I have to rush to the, you have to go through security, pushing through people, like, oh, my flight's about to take off, because I'm running late, let me go ahead of you. So people get in a state of stress and anxiety, like, I might miss my flight. Like, let me just run through everything. This is not intidhar. This is now a rush. This is anxiety, because you're not prepped for it. I'm not prepped for it. If you're packed ahead of time, you know what you're doing, you know your gate, you've checked your information, whatever it is, then you're good to go. We have some people who, for Ziyarat, when they get ready to go for Ziyarat, that's how they are too. The minute that they know that they're ready to go for Ziyarat, right, their visa comes back or everything is planned, they know exactly what they're going to do. So that morning of or the night of, whatever it is, when they're about to take their flight, all they have now, instead of any stress or anxiety about baggage or flights or hotels, all they're doing is, I can't wait to go and see my imam. That's all they care about. Nothing else matters to them but seeing their imam and taking this trip in this Ziyarat. What we want to do is be in that same stage and be in that same level as well. Is this intidhar shouldn't be some sort of stress or anxiety. I have to look at myself right now is that if my imam comes tomorrow morning and all those signs start happening, am I going to be able to be those who just says, yes, na'am, I'm with you, imam, right now, right, labbaik, and that's it? Or I'm like, oh, imam, I don't really know how to make wudu yet. I don't know how to pronounce my Arabic and my salah properly. There's some ahkam that I'm not able to do yet. No, if that happens, well, imam's going to say, sorry, this flight is taking off, right? You're too late now. These alamat, these signs are not for us to get prepared. It's for us to be warned ahead of time that, look, to do proper intidhar and waiting for the imam means that we should be ready to go right from the beginning. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Somebody who's truly a muntadhir, who's waiting for the imam, has their bags packed. Their aqeedah is straight. Their ahkam is known. They know exactly what to expect when the imam returns. There's no surprises for them. And in many of the riwayat, if you guys have gone through it, you'd see that some of them seem a little ajib, right? And the way that it's described about the dhuhur of the imam. We might be very shocked when the imam comes back, right? We don't want to be one of those. So anything that we need to do, we need to be prepared ahead of time. So that we are the types that are just sitting there with our bags packed, waiting like, Imam, I'm doing my duty, I'm doing my wadhifa, I'm doing better and better and better, and I'm trying and I'm trying. So when you do come, yeah, it may not be perfect, but at least I know that I've done my basics and I'm trying to get closer and closer to you. Even if we look at the example of those who join the caravan of Imam Husseini alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Obviously, you have some joining him from Medina, from Mecca, others on the way as he's making his way towards Kufa, and even some in the last moments, as they pass by, they find out what's happening and they join the Imam's side. Are these the people who don't have their basic wajibat done? Are these people who are such enemies of the Ahlul Bayt that, they're just confused about what's happening? No, people like Zuhair or people who are joining at the last second, they already have their aqeedah straight, generally speaking. There's just one or two things that they need to fix. Hur, although he was mistaken in the beginning, his akhlaq was something that saved him. Right? His understanding of the maqam and darajah of somebody like Bibi Fatima alayhi salam and the relationship of Imam Hussein to Bibi Fatima. Right? So he had all this. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. It's just one little thing, one little push from the Imam, right? One thing and that was it. But when you look at Umar ibn Sa'd and Shimr and all these other individuals on the opposite side, the Imam says, look, we know very well, we can try to bring you back to our side, but because you're filled your bellies with haram, you might be praying and doing all this other stuff, but your aqeedah is not straight. Your ma'rifah is not there. The way that you've been enslaved to the dunya, there's no way you're going to come on our side. People like that who are ahl haram, ahl dunya and things like that, there's no room in their heart, there's no room in their soul for a connection and having ma'rifah and joining the caravan of their Imam. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to make that sort of switch like that when we're that enslaved to the dunya. So our job then, in this idea of preparation, getting ready for the Imam, is all those little bits of ego, of connection to the dunya, whatever we have that is going to act as an obstruction and an obstacle in us connecting and having ma'rifah and joining the army of the Imam needs to go away from now. Because we don't know, the Imam's return can be tonight, can be tomorrow morning. Right? The Ahlul Bayt have said, anybody who tries to give you some idea about timing, they're liars, kadhab. They've said it in multiple ahadith. Anybody who comes and tries to tell you, it's right around the corner, it's going to be this year, he said, they're all liars. It can be tomorrow, it can be next year, it can be 20 years from now, it could be 50,000 years from now. No one has any clue. And any of these alamat and signs, some of them might be accurate, but a lot of these signs that we see about turmoil in the Middle East or, let's say, gender roles being reversed or whatever it happens to be, none of them actually say that that means that the dhuhr is right around the corner. It just says that these are some things that might happen, may happen before the dhuhr happens and before the end of the times, before the end of time. That's it. It has no bearing on the fact that it might happen tomorrow or 20 years or 100 years from now, nothing like that. So we need to act as if. Act as if the Imam is right here, right now, waiting for us. But we also need to be practical and think about the fact that it's also possible that the Imam may not come in this lifetime. So I have to do my job of trying to train myself as if the Imam's ready and waiting for me. And maybe my job is not for myself, but to train my family, my kids, the people in the community, the future generations, so that I can say from my grave that yes, my grandchildren, my descendants, when they're with the Imam, it's because we had laid that grounding and done the groundwork for all of that. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Okay. Now, so we said, we've done Slido before. We've done Menti. We were experimenting with that. But, we haven't done Kahoot in a while. So I figured, let's jump into Kahoot and let's see how that works for us tonight. So inshallah, I think the code will come up on the screen in a minute or two. If you can recite another Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Okay, maybe not a minute or two. Maybe a little bit longer. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, you can log in on the app, the Kahoot app, or you can go to kahoot.it. The pin listed on the screen is 203-3004, or you can just scan the QR code, whatever's easiest. So let's see. Assalamu alaikum to everybody here. We have Zahra Ali, Steph Sag, Fatima A, Anonymous, Bande Khuda, Sakela, ZQK. Oh my God. Raza A. Is Raza A's avatar a pirate koala? Yeah, it is. Okay. Specialists, Sakina D, Muslims United, Ali Mahdi and Dad. Smiley face. I'm not going to read one of those. Justin Fields. Yeah, if media can actually get rid of some of those names, it would probably be better. Hasan and Hussein, Fatima A. Yeah. Media, if you can start editing some of those names, that'd be appreciated. Yeah. Number one, wow. I think some of you need to, and I mentioned this, well, some of you weren't here this morning, but one of the signs, of a muttaqi individual, according to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, is that there's no fahsha that comes out of their mouth. This is one thing that we need to work on as a community, that, when we're trying to have this sort of family-friendly game, and we're getting involved in this, that we need to be not vulgar and profane. It's a little upsetting that people are putting some of these names and stuff up. It's unfortunate, because if things like that happen, then we can't do stuff like this. So I would appreciate it if those who are a little immature don't ruin it for everybody else. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Okay, so we have, you guys are just not listening, I think, right? Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. One more salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Now we're waiting for the Imam, and I think we're going to be waiting a long time, because the Imam comes back, and he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with you Shias, man. I don't know what's wrong with you. Now, this is the sort of behavior that is not expected from a base-level Muslim, let alone somebody who considers himself a Shia of the Ahlul Bayt, right? It's very unfortunate. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Okay, I think we get started. Enough of these names, because they're really bad. Okay, so good luck to everybody. Okay, here we go. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First question. What does al-Mahdi mean? Does it mean the guide, the guided, both, or neither? I think we have about almost 50 so people playing today. So let's see. And everybody's pretty quick so far on the answers. Don't forget, unlike Slido and stuff, the quicker you answer, the more points you get, right? So, most of you got it wrong. Mahdi means one who's guided or rightly guided, right? So only 11 of you got that, so good job. Okay, so let's see. So Sabah, very good, 941 points. Anonymous in second place. Dad, I don't know who's Dad, but there's some Dad that's in third place. Qambar, close behind in fourth, and then ZKQ in fifth. Okay, number two. How old was Imam Mahdi alayhi salam when his father passed away? Was he 2 years old, 5 years old, 7 years, or 10 years old? How old was Imam Mahdi, sorry, there's an extra apostrophe S there, when his father, Imam Hasan al-Askari alayhi salatu wasalam, passed away? So we know he was young, but how young exactly was he? Okay, most of you got that right? He was approximately 5 years old. Good job. Let's see if the leaderboards changed at all. No, Sabah still at the top, very good, but Anonymous is good. Qambar, nice job, you've taken third place. ZKQ and whatever that is, and next, okay. Which prophet will reappear and help Imam Mahdi? Ajalallahu ta'ala faraju sharif. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Prophet Isa alayhi salam, Prophet Musa alayhi salam, or Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Which prophet will reappear and help the Imam and pray behind the Imam? I'm starting off with the easy ones. It's going to get a lot more difficult for that. And after this, okay, see, most of you. One of each of every month. Come on, this was an easy one. 49 of you got it. Okay, good. All right, so ZKQ jumped up one place. Good job. All right, next. Now this one, let's see. How many moons orbit Mars? Now you have to enter the answer yourself. How many moons orbit Mars? So I'll give you a clue. I didn't put moon. So there's definitely more than one, but how many? For any of you who grew up with the game Doom, I don't know if any of you guys played that. These games took place on some of the moons of Mars. Okay, let's see. The correct answer was 2. I think Phobos and Deimos, or Deimos. So, okay, good job. Still pretty much same thing, but Sakina D, good job, is now on the leaderboard, and KQ has jumped. So ZKQ and KQ, I don't know the difference between them, right? Okay, number 5. How many deputies represented Imam Mahdi in the minor occultation, the Ghaibat al-Sughra? 2, 3, 4, or 5? How many deputies represented him? Did he specifically assign? Who were the khas people that Imam Mahdi had picked? Because we know in the major occultation, there's nobody designated. Anybody who claims this is a liar, is a fake, is a charlatan. And to this day, there are some people who come out and they claim that they are. Okay, most of you got that right. Yeah, that's 4. Asant. Let's see. Okay, boards haven't changed. Sabah is still up top. Very good. Okay, now you got to type the answer again. Right? This is double points. This is going to be tricky. Ghaibat al-Sughra lasted how many years? How many years did the minor occultation last? So I didn't give you multiple choice. That's why I get double points for this. So I'll give you a clue. It's between 0 and 100. Okay, I'll give you another clue. It's between 10 and 90. I'll give you another clue. It's between, no, it's 70 years. Only 3 people. Wow. Okay, well, that's why it's double points. That's the way it works. Oh, whoever got it right is not even on the leaderboard anyway, so nothing changed for them. Okay, now, you have to order these things. These 4 names are the names of the Nawa'ib of the 12th Imam. You have to put them in chronological order. Right, so Hussein ibn Ruh al-Nubakhti, Muhammad ibn Uthman ibn Sa'id al-Amri, Uthman ibn Sa'id al-Amri, and Ali ibn Muhammad al-Samuri. So put them in order. Who came first? If you use some context clues, you can probably at least figure out 2 of them. What was that? That was fast. I don't think I gave enough time, but it's all right. Only 3 got it right. You have to be fast. Okay. Let's see. Oh, sorry, Sabah. Anonymous. Great job. All right. Almost over a 1,000-point lead. Wow. Okay. Question 8. Now, there's possibly multiple answers, and it's double points. So this is going to be very tricky. What is the 9th of Rabi-ul-Awwal, yani tonight? How is it referred to in some of our riwayat? Eid-e-Zahra, Eid-e-Shuja'a, Eid-Ghadir Thani, the second Ghadir, Yom Raf'ul Qalam, the day of the lifting of the pen, Eid-ul-Akbar, or Eid-ul-Sajjad. So which of these, if any, is it? I'll give you a clue to at least one of them. I'll give you another clue. It's not the obvious one. Sometimes the way that we name things is not the way that it was named in the riwayat. Yes, I knew most of you would say Eid-e-Zahra, but that's not how it's mentioned in the riwayat. So the 2 ways that it's been mentioned is either Yom Raf'ul Qalam or Eid-ul-Akbar. That's the way it's been mentioned. I'm not saying that they're authentic, but at least the ones that do talk about the 9th of Rabi', it's mentioned in this way. Okay, let's see if it's changed at all. Okay, Anonymous still there. Qambar, nice job, up to 2nd place. Sabah, you're still there. That's good. Sakina D and Bande Khuda up there. Okay, now, number 9. What is the most likely reason why we celebrate the 9th of Rabi-ul-Awwal? Is it beginning of the 12th Imam's Imamah? Mukhtar brought the killers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and the Shuhada to justice, the death of a certain Zalim companion, or the end of the Azab Muharram Safar mourning period? Right. Now, do you see how I didn't mention names? Do you see how that works sometimes, where you don't have to be very direct? You can still say stuff indirectly? Yeah. There we go. Most of you got that right. That's most likely the reason. most ulama say that's probably what it is, because these other reasons, there's not really strong authenticity in the history or ahadith. Oh God, it looks like we have ikhtilaf. No, there's only one. There was only one. I said the most likely thing, yeah. Okay. Which country is completely landlocked by South Africa? Swaziland, Botswana, Zimbabwe, or I don't even know how to pronounce this. Lesotho? I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah. It's that one. Whatever that one is. Lesotho or Lesotho. I don't know. Okay, let's see if that changed anything. Okay, Anonymous still there. Sabah, you're close. You're almost back up to first place. Good job. Qambar, Sakinadeen, Bande Khuda still there. All right, true or false? Standing up and placing your hand on your head when Imam al-Mahdi's name is mentioned is mustahab. Is that true or false? Is it mustahab to stand up and place your hand on your head? Mustahab means that something has been specifically mentioned in either the Quran or the riwayat. Something very specifically mentioned and ordered for us to do. Sorry. It's a slightly trick question. It's false. It has not been mentioned in a riwayat that this is something. It's become a good sort of cultural practice to do. And if in a community people think that you are being disrespectful, then it's better that you do it rather than not doing it. So it's actually not something that the Imam said that we have to do, so to speak, or that it's recommended to. Anonymous, nice job, streak of 3. Qambar, second place, very good. Sabah, sorry. Muslims United, okay? And then Fatima A in 5th place. Okay, let's see. We've got a couple more left. Imam Mahdi was born around what time? Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib. Around what time was he born? I think by everybody answering really fast, that probably means I think most of you have an idea, a good idea. Yes, most of you got this, right? Most narrations say that he was born around Fajr time. Okay, let's see if that changed anything. No, it didn't change anything. Oh man, Anonymous. Okay, 2 questions. Yeah, you guys are in a rush now. Okay, double points. Now this is, according to many ahadith, Imam Mahdi will not act like Rasulullah. Is that true or false? That in many of our riwayat and ahadith, it says Imam Mahdi will not act like Rasulullah. Is that true or false? Sorry. The answer is true. In many of our riwayat, it says that he will not act according, many of the riwayat, it says he will not act according to the seerah of Rasulullah. Now, it's a long discussion about why that's the case. Anonymous still there. Muslims United, Fatima A, good job on your streak. Qambar and then Zahra Ali, welcome to the leaderboard. Very good. Okay, last one. According to Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, if people know what al-Qa'im will do when he appears, most of them will wish he what? They'll wish the Imam would quickly return, would delay his reappearance, would not appear, or none of the above. This is, a hadith by the reported to the 5th Imam. If people know or knew what al-Qa'im, Ajjalallahu ta'ala faraju sharif, will do when he reappears, most of them will wish he, yes, I think now you guys got the idea, would not appear, right? Because when they find out that he's coming for the truth and things like that, a lot of people who are not the people of truth, they're like, you know what, I don't want the Imam to come back. Same thing that Imam Ali alayhi salam had said to people, you don't want me in charge because I'm going to lay down the law. You don't want somebody like me in charge. Let's see, so, first place, we have the 3rd place, Fatima A, good job. 2nd place, we have Muslims United. And 1st place, is it still anonymous? Let's see. Anonymous, congratulations. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Congrats also to Qambar and Fatima A, or whoever was 5th, I missed that, whoever was in 5th place, right? In 4th and 5th place. I think that's it. So we are done for tonight. If you want to collect your prize, anonymous, whoever you are, you got to show proof. I'll have to figure out what that prize is. So, an Eid Mubarak to all of you. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Ahl Baytihi at-Tayyibin at-Tahirin.
افضل السلام محمد و آل محمد صلوات. نعرہ حیدری یا علی یا علی، نعرہ حیدری یا علی یا علی. دین پہ جب کبھی کوئی مشکل پڑی، دین پہ جب کبھی کوئی مشکل پڑی، سب نے دیکھا یہی بولتے خود نبی، سب نے دیکھا یہی بولتے خود نبی. یا علی یا علی، نعرہ حیدری یا علی یا علی، نعرہ حیدری یا علی یا علی. تو انبیاء کی شان ہے، تو نازش عمران ہے، باد خدا باد نبی، باد خدا باد نبی، تو ہے صراط المستقیم. نعرہ حیدری یا علی یا علی، نعرہ حیدری یا علی یا علی. پر کے ناد علی کر رہا ہوں دعا، سخت مشکل میں ہوں المدد مرتضی. میں گناہ گار ہوں تو ہے مشکل کشا، میں گناہ گار ہوں تو ہے مشکل کشا. سن میری التجا، نعرہ حیدری یا علی یا علی، نعرہ حیدری یا علی یا علی. محمد و آل محمد صلوات. اللہ. مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے، مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے. نظر ترسی ہے صورت کو، نظر ترسی ہے صورت کو، نگاہ ہے یار ہو جائے. مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے، مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے. بتا دے آ کے اے مولا ہے کیا قرآن اور اطرت، بشر کو چوم لیتے ہیں حرم کو چومنا بدعت. ذرا ایسی ہی گردن پر، ذرا ایسی ہی گردن پر تیری تلوار ہو جائے. مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے، مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے. تیاری جنگ کرنے کی ریاست دان کر بیٹھے، تیری تلوار سے مرنے کا وہ ارمان کر بیٹھے. اسی خیبر کی طاقت کا، اسی خیبر کی طاقت کا ذرا اظہار ہو جائے مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے. حرم کی خاک بھی ان کے کلیجوں کو جلاتی ہے, تیری آمد کی خوش خبری بھی ان کو کاٹ کھاتی ہے. تباہ پھر سے سقیفہ کے تباہ پھر سے سقیفہ کے درو دیوار ہو جائے مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے. لرز اٹھے گی دنیا انقلاب ہاں کی شدت سے, کٹے گی کیسے گردن کفر کی مولا کی ضربت سے. ستم گر کی زبان سے بھی ستم گر کی زبان سے بھی ستم اقرار ہو جائے مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے. یہ پردے ہٹ کے نور حق نظر آ جائے دنیا کو, سکون مل جائے گا مظلوم و بے کس بے سہارا کو. یہی حسرت ہے پھر خاک یہی حسرت ہے پھر خاک ستم مسمار ہو جائے مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے مولا ایک بار ہو جائے تیرا دیدار ہو جائے. محمد وال محمد صلوات.
یا نبی سلام علیکم یا علی سلام علیکم حسن و فاطمہ پر صلوات اللہ علیکم. یا نبی سلام علیکم یا رسول سلام علیکم حسن و فاطمہ تعریف کس سے ہوئے وہ سید النساء کی خدمت میں اس کے مریم کچھ لڑ لیے کھڑی ہے. بستر نبی کے اوپر سر کو نثار کر کے خوش رو کے سر رہا ہے کیسی دلاوری ہے. یا علی سلام علیکم मेहंदी के हादी आवे तब जग में हो उजाला, जुल्मत कुफर को जावे वो नूर हैदरी है। मोरे नबूवत ऊपर जिसने कदम धरा है, इंसाफ करके उससे किसको बराबरी है। मुश्किल हमें पड़ी है, मुश्किल कुशा तुम ही हो, या मज़हर अल-अजाइब ये वक्त या वरी है। सलाम अलैकुम या अली, सलाम अलैकुम हसन व फातिमा पर सलावातुल्लाह अलैकुम। अल-फातिहा मा सलावात।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलामु अलैका या रसूल अल्लाह, अस्सलामु अलैका या अमीरल मुमिनीन, अस्सलामु अलैकी या फातिमतुज़-ज़हरा सय्यदतुन-निसाइल आलमीन, अस्सलामु अलैका या अबा मुहम्मद अल-हसन इब्न अली अल-मुज्तबा, अस्सलामु अलैका या अबा अब्दिल्लाह व अला अल-अरवाह अल्लती हल्लत बिफ़नाइक, अलैका मिन्नी सलामुल्लाहि अबदन मा बक़ीत व बक़िया अल-लैल वन-नहार व ला जअलहु अल्लाहु आखिर अल-अहद मिन्नी लिज़ियारतिकुम। अस्सलामु अला अल-हुसैन व अला अली इब्न अल-हुसैन व अला औलाद अल-हुसैन व अला अस्हाब अल-हुसैन। अस्सलामु अलैका या ज़ैन अल-आबिदीन व मुहम्मदिन अल-बाक़िर व जअफ़र अस-सादिक़ व मूसा अल-काज़िम व अली इब्न मूसा ar-रिज़ा व मुहम्मदिन अत-तक़ी अल-जवाद व अली अल-हादी वल हसन अज़-ज़की अल-अस्करी। सल्लल्लाहु अलैका इब्न अज़-ज़हरा या साहिब अज़-ज़मान, सल्लल्लाहु अलैका इब्न अल-हसन या साहिब अज़-ज़मान, सय्यदी अल-अमान 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 मिन फितनत अज़-ज़मान। अस्सलामु अलैका या शरीक अल-क़ुरआन, अस्सलामु अलैका या इमामना व इमाम अल-इंस वल-जान। अज्जलल्लाहु लक मा वअदक मिन अन-नस्र व ज़ुहूर अल-अम्र व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहु। अल्लाहुम्मा कुल वलियक अल-हुज्जत इब्न अल-हसन आतुक अलैहि व अला आबाए फी हाज़िहि अस्साअ व फी कुल्लि साअ वलियन व हाफ़िज़ा व क़ाइदन व नासिरा व दलीलन व ऐना हत्ता तुस्किनहु अर्ज़क तौआ व तुमत्तिअहु फ़ीहा तवीला। व सल्लि या रब्बि अला मुहम्मदिन व आलिहि अत्ताहिरीन। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला